Everybody, Texas Schroeder here, LoneStarMopars.com, Lance's Performance Shop. We're back in the shop. It's a Monday night, getting some stuff done, cleaning some mess up, and going through some products we've just brought in recently. We're going to go ahead and get started here with some Amazon stuff. Now, typically what I've done with Amazon hauls is I've just sort of highlighted the standalone products that I liked. And what I decided to try doing is just introducing sort of all the crud I bring in, and then if it's neat or cool or impressive or terrible, we'll make a standalone video at that point in time. So let's get started here with these just to get them out of my way. And this, oh yes, that's exactly what you think it is. 7-piece, we got one free, 6 plus 1. 16-ounce condiment bottles, BPA free and made in the USA. Note there, the last thing it says, better lids. I know what you're thinking, this is a really dumb purchase. And as I walk over here, let me sort of explain what I'm doing here. This right here is a bottle, and it's got no capacity on it. I can't remember, it's probably 16 ounces or more. But if you look up here, it's got that special weird end on it. Now that's not for ketchup and mustard like these are. This was specifically to put fuel in a carburetor. And that's why it's such a small orifice. I'm going to tell you right now, this thing, and it was from All Star Performance, picked it up from Summit, it sucks. I don't know if I got a lemon. I don't know. It was very disappointing. And all the while, I remembered back, you know, there was the guy that I sort of learned Holly Carbs with when I was like 14 or 15. He always had like the red and yellow you know, ketchup and mustard bottles. And I remember, you know, like that's because he did a lot of small engine stuff, and I think he had like cleaner in one and then he had just fuel in the other. And that's what I'm gonna start doing, because that thing was super disappointing. And I got all 7 of these for $9. I might actually put like car cleaning products in some of these. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do, but I want to pull one out here and we're gonna go over them. And of course I'll try it out with fuel and we'll see what happens. My hope is that it delivers, but essentially this is what we're working with. Just let me go ahead and get you dimensions. Some people in reviews were complaining about the length of these being bigger, but I think that was like salad dressing people, and here I am. I'm just gonna put high octane fuel in these. So I'm not as picky. I think this is a nice size. You know, obviously if you've got tight constraints, you might size it down a little bit. But the big thing with the condiment bottles, and with that one was the same issue, where this has the bottle come up and then there's multiple threads on this piece. When you have the ones that have the lids screw on to the body, it's not really as, you know, neck down and standalone, they tend to leak with fuel. And this one, as you can see, being up here and threading on, again, note how many turns I had to make to get that to seat. That means there's a lot of threads there. There's not just like half a thread or 1.5 or something. And with this bottle that was specifically for that application, it has, let's say like what, 1.5 threads if you want to be real about it, and it leaks. And it didn't do a good job, and I can't tell you how disappointed I was in that thing. So this right here, it comes with a red cap. It currently, I don't think it has a hole in it. You could easily put a needle or a pin through that and put one. You can also cut it. So if we were gonna like put in, I don't know, some sort of, you know, like buffing compound or something, we would want to cut it back deeper, of course. But if we're just using fuel, I think we can come in with a nail or anything and just prick the top of that. The caps, I've read people do have a hard time keeping them. They tend to lose them. Obviously, they would be non-functional if you cut it back here any farther. But I'm going to give them a go. Again, it was $9 for a set of 7. They're 16 ounces. If they work great and I wear them out over time, I've got 6 backups. You know, if I want to come in and have different grades of fuel, they're easy to ride on with just a simple, you know, Sharpie or something. So I'm going to give them a try, because again, I've brought in the dedicated tool for the job and it sucked. It was terrible. Never buy that with my recommendation. Coming in, before we get into this stuff here, which you're probably more interested in, we got to filter through the rest of the ho-hum stuff, if you will. And this is a 2-pack. I'm trying to see how the tape job would be. I have no idea what to expect from these, but I am hopeful that they're not terrible. The odd thing, I believe one of these costs like $7.99, and you could get 2 for $10.99. I think the price fluctuates quite a bit for some reason. This is from Lubrimatic. It's a 4cc fluid quart pump. And there it is. I've never actually seen this side because it was wrapped up, but that's exactly what it is. As you can see, like if you're doing, you know, differential work, transmission, if they've got really weird pickup points or whatever it may be, fill points, we're home free with this thing. And I'm hoping that this turns out to be a good purchase. Fits standard quart bottle, which that's going to be your typical size for everyone, regardless of what you're working on. Ideal for adding fluids to small engines, gearboxes, and differential. Flexible hose for hard-to-reach fill plugs, and that's a 4cc pump. So, it looks like the blister pack will be easy to work with, and it is. Thank you, Lubrimatic. Sincerely appreciated, everyone. Looks like the parent company of this would be Pliers. Pliers, I don't know, P-L-E-W-S, if that means anything. Maybe you can take some time and research them, see if they've got other good products that are well reviewed or make trash, because I don't know the answer. I just wanted to pull the trigger and see if it works good for me. So, there it is. This is the flex hose, and I can already see as long as this works, and the key with this type of stuff is so many of these pumps that you think like hand soap, which I've tried a couple times with different brands, I was like, well, the dial one didn't work, let me go get the cheap store brand and see if it'll do it. The problem is the viscosity of the fluids. A lot of times you have issues where it would work fine, but it's so slippery of a fluid, if you will, which you would expect with oil or transmission fluid, it just can't pump it good. And this is specifically designed for, you know, oil, so we'll see how it does. Now, also of note, there's just a little spring clamp here, which that'll work great with our channel locks. And then we do actually get this included, a little hard fill, which I guess would slip on. We could probably channel it here as well. I think that'll slip. Yeah, if we wanted to, we could get that in there and extend the length. Just real quick for you, let's try to get a feel for what exactly we're working with, because I don't think they spec'd it out. This hard tube here, it is angle cut on both sides. It's roughly 5 3/4 is what we're going to go with. My apologies to the guy that always comments on the metric system. I do plan to bring in a metric ruler. It's just, again, everything I do is pretty much SAE, so I think it would be good for reviews, though, to be able to come in. Like when I have that really odd, like, it's between 9 7/8 and 9 15/16 type of stuff, and I'm like, why would we do that, anyone? And then he's like, oh, hey, that's a metric system, buddy. I'm like, yeah, that would actually make sense. So this is very difficult to show on camera, but roughly 17 inches of flex line. So that's a good deal. We've got that working for us. Again, it should thread onto any quart. I'm not actually going to try that yet. I'm going to save that for here in a little bit. But again, I got the 2 set for, I think, $11 or $12. You can find them for both prices. Just kind of always check around, make sure you get the free shipping. Next up, a little bit bigger of an item. OTC 2359. I think this one set me back about $19.99. This is a oil suction gun. It's for use with gear oils to get them both into and out of the gearboxes, transfer cases, and differential. The lip seal is supposed to provide maximum suction. I like that it was a one-piece. 16-ounce capacity is good, and it's got an extra long 14-inch PVC hose for easy access. So the reviews on this one were actually a little bit higher than some of the competitors, and that's kind of all you can go on when you don't have first-hand experience. So again, my life online sort of revolves around the concept that people will complain about something that sucks more so than they would complain about something that was okay. So if something really blows them out of the water, people are more inclined to write a positive review, but again, it's the negative stuff that I personally put the most stock in. No fancy packaging. You know what, though? Shout out to OTC. This is kind of greasy. I'm getting my hands in something. But this is kind of a textured finish. And the reason that's nice, if you're someone that works with fluids, oils, grease, quite a bit, you'll know exactly why I appreciate that, because it will give me better grip. It's nice they've got their branding on there. I'm sure I will have that completely gone by the 3rd or 4th use, but hey, it is what it is. If we take this cap off, and it seems to be nice cast aluminum. Lots of threads, which is a good sign. It's just like those bottles we covered at the beginning. A whole lot of threads. there is our business end right here. We sort of got nylon lock nut. That's good. They didn't cheap out on that. You can see the O-ring. We've got some, it smells kind of like petroleum jelly. There's an O-ring on this side. I'm sure I'm going to have stuff leak out, but I mean, look at the length of thread on the case. That's reassuring. I don't feel like we got just some cheap piece of trash. I think they at least tried on it. Now, it may fail or disappoint me, but initial impression is it's at least a decent design. So, backside over here, we can thread that one too. I'm going to keep it tight though, or tighten it back down. And what I want to do now is let's see if we can listen closely and get a feel for the mechanism. You can feel the air escape. I have a feeling I'm going to push some oil past that. But I'm going to give it a go. Now, they claim this was 14 inches. It's just like a vinyl flex hose. It's got 3 barbs on it. If you were ever going to use this frequently and you're happy with its length, by all means, my advice would be to put like a little simple worm gear clamp or something on it. Just because that's what people have. No one has this style of stuff sitting around, or at least no one I've ever known has that style of hose clamp. That's like just some factory thing where they try to be special, it seems like. Will that work? I don't know. Will that work? I don't know. But you know, part of the fun in life is figuring out what does work. And this is something that I do want to suck, but in a good way. And we'll investigate that very, very soon. Now, right here, this is interesting stuff for you, and this is probably what most of you that are familiar with my channel will care far, far more about. Typically, I would make like a standalone video on these, but I'm trying it different, kind of put it into like an Amazon tool haul cumulative type of a deal. And these, I'm pretty excited about. I think the part number is going to be 3891200. And this is from Knipex, 38-200 there. That's going to be our length. But again, 3891200. You've got the Knipex logo and made in Germany on the handle. We've got Knipex stamped there. I've never actually had a pair of Knipex pliers that had a smooth finish on the handle. This is sort of like your typical channel lock finish, right? Just the blue plastic dip. And I wondered if I got like forged stuff, possibly. I think they're legit, but again, coming from Amazon, you never know. To me, this would be what you would call a hose plier. And apparently I'm the only person that still uses that term, because I think they call these something crazy. Gripper pliers or something. Not something I would associate with it. Did it grip? Yes, but I mean, it's designed for use with fuel hose or fuel line. And I tended to have issues. Now, Tekton, that's the only other brand that I was even familiar with. They had a nice set. It was one piece, I should say. And it was like 14 something on Amazon. The Knipex was 27, so it's about double. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull the trigger, hope that the quality that I'm used to kind of transitions here. And I am a little surprised they're that small, but, and they don't seem to offer, at least that I could find, a larger size. You know, like we might say this is good for, you know, half down to X size. That's why you typically see a 3-piece set. Now, the problem with the 3-piece sets, they had really bad reviews, all of them, and they were probably all made by the same company, and that's one of the reasons I went ahead and pulled this route. Now, key feature here, no cutting edge. Typically you would have, you know, like it's a multi-purpose deal, and you would have something here that would shear line or cut cable. No, we do not want to do that. We want to remove this from a barbed fitting, remove it from a pocket fitting, something along those lines. We don't want to cut the line. Now, we might, but we can get a separate tool for that. The camera's probably not going to show it really well, but there's a nice texture here. It's not unlike at all their standard pliers. And what I want to do for you, this is standard rubber hose, 3/8 50 psi rubber hose. Obviously, it's seen some usage, and we're just going to come in here, and this is loose. You can see there I'm not squeezing down. This is just, we're going to come back out loose. Grips really well. Now, if I come in and just squeeze down on it, that is not going anywhere. That's why I took the gamble and brought in the ones that were double the price of the standalone Tekton. And Tekton, again, was the only brand that I was familiar with. Sunex made the 3-piece set, and they had terrible reviews, so I didn't even want to waste my time with that. Now right here we've got socketless. This is from Aeroquip. I can come in here, grab it right behind where I had my hose clamp. Again, very, very light pressure, not going anywhere. Squeeze down on it, it's a stud. This is a really, if this is fake, it's whoever made this, they did a very good job on the tool. I don't know about faking it, but the tool side I'm impressed by. So it costs roughly the same as the 3-piece sets, and again, double the Tecton. But again, I wanted to take the gamble. I've had the most experience with Knipex, and I felt like it was the safest route to go, and this is something that I will actually use a lot. It's another reason I was willing to spend more money on it. So, little fuel filter here. I think this is a Russell, if I'm not mistaken. If you wonder why I hate ethanol, there's one of your answers. But we'll come in here. Right there. So I've got that on, and I mean, I can come in and pull it, but it's not the easiest thing to do. So let's just grab this, and I guess we'll start out here past the barb, if you will. There we go. Now, obviously, under a car, you would typically have this fixed or a higher quality filter, which this is actually a good quality filter, you just never know after the swill they put at the gas pumps these days. But it didn't ever slip, and that is a good thing. That's what I was going for. Now, if we make a standalone on this, I'll bring in some really big barbed fittings, and we'll try to kind of secure them down, make sure we get like a nice thorough test on them. But just for the intents and purposes of saying, hey, I bought this, that's what it is, that's what it does, pretty impressive. Now, I was concerned about that possibly being fake, again, based on the quality of the grip. I feel like it's legitimate, but again, I've never had anything that was just the standard finish there. I want to say they are legit because primarily of that end, but this does follow pattern with what I've seen from other Knipex tools. So if you've got any ideas, or if you're some guru on that, let me know. Is this the real deal or an imposter? I'm inclined to say it's legitimate, and it was one of the reasons when I buy from Amazon, I don't always get like the cheapest price. I always go for the ones that are bought and sold by Amazon, not some crazy third-party person I've never heard of. It's just a personal preference. I feel more secure and more likely that I could get a refund if it is fraudulent. But this side right here tells me it's real. That looks to be real. It's just, again, I've never had that finish before, so... this right here I was a little concerned about too, and that's because of the box. It looks like it's sun faded. If you were here feeling it, it feels like it got wet. So I'm already thinking like, okay, you know, it got wet in shipping, and then it sat out to dry in a window and someone left it there for too long. I don't know. But I've had a couple of their boxes from KC Tool, and they felt really nice. This feels literally like I described it, that it got wet and then it was left out to dry. So, not exactly the most confidence-inspiring, start you could have to a product, but part number here is 86050-250, and if you know that part number, which some of you might, you know what's inside. Got our comfort grips. Again, this is what I'm accustomed to, 86050-250, and again, I mean, the style matches, right? But what's it going to be? Do you know yet? You're thinking, oh, got another set of Cobras. Ooh. You didn't go with the black, you went with the chrome this time, huh? Got some chromed Cobras. Nope. Plier wrench. So, this is pretty cool. This is going to be my first experience with their pliers wrench, and this is the improved or the newer design. I don't know if you want to say improved. It's mixed feelings amongst people. But if we slide it down here, basically for you metric folk, 12 to 52 millimeter. I think it said 2 though. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay, so 12 to 52, and then of course it'll squeeze down a little bit more past that. But if you can see right there, the triangle sort of highlights where we are. So if you know your fastener size, you can come in, dial it in immediately, and just go to town with it. This is the same mechanism you should be familiar with, just kind of with some added features. Very fluid, very smooth right out of the box, and something cool for people like me on the backside. It's a 2-inch standard. All right. So we can come in, and if I know that I've got, you know, a 7/8 nut that I need to pull off, boom, there we go. It's exact same as the other side, but again, this one is going to be done in inches, which I happen to appreciate. So what is marked out, it looks like 2-inch, 1 3/4 inch, 1.5 inch, 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 5/8, 1/2 inch. So half, 5/8, and 3/4 under 1 inch, and then every 1/4 inch past the 1 inch mark. On the metric side, we've got 12, 17, 22, 27, 32, 37, 42, 47, and 52. So essentially 12 to 52 increments of 5. And again, this kind of, competes with, Channel Lock's old school design. But again, the big thing, this is a smooth jaw. So we're not going to be tearing into things. It's almost like an adjustable wrench, And I've got to say, I've played with these a little bit, and I did smash my fingers once. Apparently, if I remember correctly, the older design, I believe it was German Tool Reviews, I think he was I could have this totally backwards, but it's 50% that I'm right or wrong. I think his consensus was he preferred the older design. And I know a lot of people then rushed out and they were trying to buy the older design, either to experience it for the first time or because they were also of the same mindset. But I completely smashed them. It didn't hurt too bad though. I wasn't putting a lot of leverage, but pretty much anything past the halfway point, which that'd be about 27 on the scale here. I have bigger hands, but like that's when I get into knuckle busting territory with this thing. Now, if it's a larger, like if we're using this on copper unions or airlines or plumbing or something, I'm far less likely to have something bad and painful happen to me. Smaller the size, though, the more likely I am to smash something. So that said, though, aside from those coming in a really questionable box, it's very difficult to fake this. All right, I've got multiple tools with this exact configuration. This looks to be mint and legit. That is one of the perks of KC Tool. I mean, you're going to get the real deal from them every time. Amazon, I always suggest you go official. I know a lot of you buy it from Amazon.de, the German site, if you will. I would always advise that you do that, unless you've got a reputable seller, type of a thing. But so many times, it's just some random person that creates an account, and you're getting the real deal, you're getting something fake. You don't really know until you get it. I feel more confident that Amazon themselves will take care of the product. Could be wrong, but I'm putting faith in them. So, but that said, this is the Amazon tool haul for this time. We've got just a little bit of everything, let's be honest. We have a ketchup bottle. We've got this little Lubrimatic quart pump. We've got an OTC oil suction gun. And we've got some Knipex. I'm going to call these forever. This will be hose pliers to me. I guess that's the question of the day. What do you call this tool? Because to me, it has been and always will be hose pliers. I don't care what brands may designate theirs as, if they try to get cute with it or something. This is a hose plier. That's what it will always be. It's designed to grab soft hoses and pull them. So I'm going to leave it at that. Now, if money wasn't an issue, which I gotta say, I got this for like $54 as well, which that's a screaming good deal on that. And those again were like 27-ish, but the way they gripped, I'm very impressed by them. But with that being 54 and that 27, we did really good there in terms of bringing in Knipex stuff. I'm sure you can cross-reference part numbers elsewhere and see what I'm talking about. But on this tool, Knipex has their hose clamp plier, right? It's a little bit more advanced of a design than my channel locks are, just simple, crude, and effective. It's got like swiveling pads, but something that people don't realize on that tool is it's actually also designed to ratchet down and pull hose, kind of like this. Obviously a complete different design, but it actually is a selling point. I really, really want to bring one of those in, particularly for larger hose clamps that my channel locks would struggle with. And it's just a situation where the price on it, I would use it, but it's one of those things. I wouldn't use it. I don't feel enough to sort of justify throwing down that much coin on it, type of a thing. But if you have used Knipex hose clamp pliers and you've used the line pulling function, Let me know what you think of it, if you use it, if you never touch it. Another really cool thing is it will lock in place, allowing you to then come in and manipulate things by hand. Where the channel locks, I mean, we're going to control them, but I can't lock them, and sort of have them do the work on their own. But there's also a huge difference in price there, so it is what it is. But this will be my first experience with their plier wrench. I've got one from Jadora that I actually like pretty well, and we'll see how we like these. It's a very handy, very useful. It's one of those things, once you have it and you allow yourself to use it, you'll appreciate it more and more. That's been my sincere opinion of it and what I've experienced personally. So if anyone's got any experience with these bad boy Homestead Choice, which I know was the highlight of your day, seeing that in video form, let me know. And same with the OTC Suction Gun. And I'm kind of excited about these, in all honesty. That'll be very practical if they work. Now, life cycle, all that on these two items, we're going to have to wait and see. But little something for everybody. And on that note, I will quit rambling. I thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. Consider subscribing if you have not. And with that said, I will catch you back here for some more. I don't know that I'll ever top this, but I'll try. I will try for you. So once again, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys and gals, possibly, maybe, back here for the next one. As I was under the car, for some reason, it just dawned on me. As I was thinking about how weird it was to include that tube for an extension to the soft line, that's when I realized what I was doing. I was actually thinking of using that with a quart of oil, and I thought, no, I don't want to do that because I had other plans for it. At that point, I was thinking, how far did that extend down? And that's when it dawned on me, this probably plugs in here. I gotta say, it doesn't fit very well or very tight at all, but that will extend down. If you did want to use this on a taller bottle, you could either pick one up that's appropriate for that, or you could just simply extend this yourself. But yeah, it's crazy. It's usually one of those things I would think of at like 4 in the morning and be like, man, I'm an idiot. And luckily I caught it just right here after I quit doing the videos. So that's probably what that's for. I feel pretty confident about that. So luckily we caught it. Some of you probably already left comments. Feel free to correct them now. But it is what it is. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys back here next time.